Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. You will be able to set up equations and you will be able to do 2.2. Today students will be able to set up equations from word problems, solve them, and check the answer. Before we do that, let's start with a small warm-up. And so this is just to review for integers. So if we have 8 minus 10, we don't have rules for subtraction, so we just think of this as the sign of the second number. So the first one is positive, the second one is negative 10. So when we have the same signs, we add. But when we have different signs, we subtract. And in all instances, we keep the sign of the greater one, meaning the sign of the biggest number. Okay, so in here, since it's a positive and a negative, we don't say that we subtract, that it's a subtraction. We have a positive and a negative. We subtract and leave the sign of the greater one. So 10 minus 8 is equals to 2. And the greater one is 10, which is negative. So that's the answer. In here, we have a negative and a positive. So the answer, we're going to subtract because different signs, subtract. 6 minus 5 is 1, and leave the sign of the greater one, which is 6, and again is negative. Okay? When we have, and some books show it this way, you have a negative 2 minus, between parentheses we have negative 4. This and this is exactly the same, except that some books separate this negative 4 with parentheses just because it's negative. Some books don't, but I just want you to be used to both of them. I just say that whenever you have two negatives together next to each other, then that becomes the big plus. There cannot be two negatives together. Together they make a big plus. Now, having this, we look at the signs, and so you have one negative, the other number is positive, and so we're going to subtract. 4 minus 2 is 2. Keep the sign of the greater one. Now that's why I want you to put the big plus. Why? Because now I can see that the 4 is now positive, so it stays positive. When the answer is positive, you don't need to put the sign. In this case, even if it's separated by the parentheses, you still, two negatives together make the big plus. Okay? So it's the same. And here we have a negative and a positive, so we're going to subtract. And 8 minus 6 is 2, and the greater one is the positive number, so that's the answer. I noticed that I don't have any examples with two negatives or two positives. So let's say that I have negative 2 plus negative 4. In here, the sign of the 2 is negative, the sign of the 4 is negative. So you have two negatives, so you're going to add. 4 plus 2 is 6. And always, in addition, keep the sign of the greater one. So in here, the greater is 4, which is negative, so the answer is negative. Okay? I'm just putting that on the side because I wanted to have one of those examples. For multiplication and division, these are the rules. If you have two negatives or two positives, the answer will be positive. Okay? And if you have one positive, one negative, or one negative, one positive, the answer will be always negative. So in here it's a little bit different because this is in reference to the sign of the answer. if they're the same, positive. If they're different, negative in the answer. In here, the answer keeps the sign of the greater one for addition, okay? For addition. And subtraction, there is not really a subtraction. We take the sign as either if there are two negatives, that becomes a plus. And if there is a minus in the middle, then that minus, only one, that minus becomes a negative for the second number. So it's in addition, these are the rules. And for multiplication and division, these are the rules. In a minute, I'm going to draw also a little mouse that can help you. And so you have, oops, that's gonna mess us up. Let me draw it again. So it has two eyes that are closed and the little nose, which is a plus. And so in the ears, just to remind us, I just put that this little mouse knows how to multiply and divide integers. So this is how it works. If it's negative times negative, you cover the negative, negative times negative, and the answer will be whatever is uncovered. So in this case, it's the plus. So the answer is positive. If you have negative times positive, negative times positive, the answer is negative. The only one that it doesn't know is positive times positive, but you already know that the answer is positive, right? Because that's what we've been learning ever since second grade. Okay, so let's look at this. Negative 12 divided by positive 2. So negative divided by positive, the answer will be negative. And 12 divided by 2 is 6. Now, if we looked at this table, negative divided by positive is negative, positive. The answer is negative. So that's either one will work. The next one is positive divided by negative. So positive divided by negative, the answer is negative. So negative. And it's multiplication. So 6 times 3 is 18. Okay. Now if you look in here, positive, negative, the answer is negative. Okay. So whichever you want to use for the multiplication and division. Okay. So it says, Coco gave me 2 blouses. Now let's go to set up the equation. We're going to solve it and then check the answer. Coco gave me 2 blouses. I already had some blouses at home. Now I have 14 blouses. How many blouses did I have at home? So these are very simple equations. Coco gave me 2 blouses. I already had some blouses at home. Now I have a total, well, I have 14 blouses. So my equation would be the 2 blouses that Coco gave me, the plus X, the some blouses that I have at home. I don't know how many. And now I have 14 blouses. So in here, the 2 represents blouses Coco gave me. The X represents blouses I have at home. And the 14 is total blouses I have now. I'm just gonna put total blouses. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is to solve this equation. And so basically you're going to do what is called inverse operations. So inverse operations is you cancel whatever you're adding, you cancel with subtracting, and whatever you're multiplying, you cancel with division, and vice versa. Whatever you're subtracting, you cancel with addition, and whatever you're dividing, you cancel with multiplication. Okay, so in here, we want to leave x by itself. If we're adding 2, the opposite is to subtract 2 from both sides. And so x is equals to 12. Now the checkup part is what confuses some people a little bit. All you have to do is get the original equation. So it's 2 plus x equals 14. But in the next step, you're going to check, does it make sense that the answer or the value of x is 12? Let's see. So 2 plus this is going to be replaced by this value. Okay, so instead of putting plus x, you're going to put plus 12 because we already know that x is equals to 12. But is it equal to 14? 2 plus 12 is 14. And yes, it is equals to 14, so we say check. So basically we replace and then we start simplifying this part. This you just bring down. And if they end up being the same on both sides, that means that your answer is correct. Okay, now that we have that, we might be going a little bit faster. It says I have 3 boxes of stickers. Senia gives me 5 more stickers. Now I have 41 stickers. How many stickers are there per box? So 3 boxes of stickers. Senia gives me 5 more stickers. Now I have 41 stickers. So 3 boxes of stickers. Senia gave me 5 more. Now I have 41 stickers. So the 3 represents the boxes, the X stickers in or number of stickers in each box. Number 5 stickers Senia gave me. And the total number of stickers I have now. Okay, now the next thing is that we're going to solve. Remember that we're going to do inverse operations. We cannot divide before adding and subtracting. We usually do adding and subtracting first, except in some cases we'll see it in the last exercise. If we're adding 5, so we're gonna take away the ones that Senia gave me to see how many stickers I have before she gave me the 5 stickers. So in the 3 boxes I had 41 minus 5 is 36. So with the 3 boxes I had 36 stickers before Senia gave me the 5. To know how many stickers are in each box, I divide by 3. So whatever you're multiplying, the inverse is to divide by 3. And so x is equals to 36 divided by 3 is 12. To check the answer, again, you're going to get the original equation. And so you have 3x plus 5 equals 41. We're going to replace, instead of saying that we have 3 boxes with unknown, we're going to say 3 boxes with 12 stickers. And so 3, instead of x, we put the value, because that represents the number of stickers in each box. So 3 boxes with 12 stickers each box, plus the 5 Senia gave me. Is it equal to 41? Well, let's check. That's what we're doing, checking. We use PEMDAS. We don't add first. We multiply first according to PEMDAS. So 3 times 12 is 36 plus 5. Is it equal to 41? 36 plus 5 is 41. It is equals to 41, so we say check. Okay, so these have to be the same. That means that my answer is correct if I set up the equation correctly. Okay, that's important also. Okay, so for the next one, it says, I have a bag of apples. I divided it among 10 friends and me. We each get 4 apples. How many apples were in the bag? Okay, so in here it says that I have a bag of apples. I don't know how many apples are in each bag or that one bag. But then it says that that is divided among 10 people. Divide among 10 friends and me. Be careful with that, okay? 10 people and me. So that's a total of 11 people. We each get 4 apples. So the number of apples that are in the bag, we don't know how many there are. We're going to put as X. Divided among 10 friends and me, that means just divide by 11. And we each get 4 apples. In here, this represents number of apples in the bag because we only have one bag. The 11 is my friends, friends, and me. Okay, my 10 friends and me. And this is what we get. Apples, each of us get. Apples, each person gets. Including me, okay? So in here, this represents division. Anytime you see a fraction is division. The opposite of division is to multiply. And if we're dividing by 11, we multiply by 11. This cancels. And some people ask me why. Let me show you really fast. When I have something like this, it's like putting it over 1. You multiply straight, and 11 times x is 11x. 1 times 11 is 11. And in here, this cancels because 11 divided by 11 is 1. 1x. So that's why you end up with x only. You don't need to put the 1 as coefficient. 4 times 11 is 44. And so that's how many apples there are in the bag. Okay, 44 divided by the 11 people, that gives me 4 apples per person. So the checkup test is we have the original x divided by 11 equals 4. I replace x by the value of x. And so we're going to say, is 44 really divided by 11 equals to 4? And we'll say 44 divided by 11, that gives me 4. And yes, it is equals to 4, so we say check. Okay. The next one says, Miss Tapia had some candy pieces. She divided them among 21 students. Each got 3 candy pieces. How many candy pieces did she have to begin with? So in here, the important information is that she had some candy pieces. We don't know how many. She divided them among 21 students. Again, divided. Each got 3 candy pieces. So again, is x, because we don't know how many there are to begin with, divided among his 21 students. It doesn't say it in herself. It's only about her 21 students. And each got 3. So very simple, right? It's similar to the previous one, except that this one is not a tricky saying and me. So in here, the x represents the sum candy pieces. 21 represents the students, number of students, and these are the 3 candy pieces each one gets. Candy pieces each student gets. And so it says that if we're dividing, the inverse operation of division is multiplication. If we multiply on one side, we have to multiply in the other side to keep the balance. And so x is equals to 63. So that means that Miss Tapia had 63 candy pieces to begin with. She divided them among her 21 students, and so now each student gets 3 candy pieces. So the check again is just x divided by 21 is equals to 3. Now if we replace this value in x, 63 divided by 21, is it equal to 3? Let's check. 63, replace that. And so 63 divided by 21, it is 3. So we say check. Okay, remember that this has to be the same. Okay, let's do one last one. It says, I have a bag of Snickers. I eat 1 bar. So we don't know how many Snickers there are in the bag. I eat 1 bar. Then I divide it among 20 people. Each person gets 2 bars. Okay, each person gets 2 bars. How many bars were there in the bag? So look in here that you're doing something different. You're eating one before you divide them. So I have a bag of Snickers. We don't know how many Snickers. I eat 1 bar. And then, so this represents whatever is left after I eat the bar. Then I divide among 20 people. And each person gets 2 bars. So I'm gonna go backwards. First I ate the Snickers, then I divided. So I'm gonna go backwards to solve this. Remember that I told you that usually you cancel the addition and subtraction first, but this is shielded by the division. Está protegido por esa división. So we cannot cancel the -1 first. We have to cancel this first. Sometimes, and we'll see this a little bit more, sometimes if it's like this, then you cancel the 1 because it's not shielded by the 20. Okay, but in here, we cannot cancel the -1. Okay, so the x represents number of Snicker bars in the bag. The -1 Snicker I ate. This is the number of people. And each person gets 2 bars. Okay, so to solve it, we're going to, and I'm going to write it again because it's a little crowded in there. So if I'm dividing by 20, I'm going to multiply by 20. And so x minus 1 is equals to 40. So before I divided the Snickers by the 20 people, I had 40 Snickers. But I had already eaten that one. Now let me undo the eating the Snickers. So let's pretend that I didn't eat the Snickers. So let's put that back. And so the bag had 40 plus 1 is 41 Snickers. So that's how many bars were in the bag before I ate that one and I divided. For the checkup test, you get the x minus 1 divided by 20 equals to, oh my goodness. So sorry. Let me see if I can fix this. There it is. The last step. Okay, I'm going to replace the 41 in here. It's going to be 41 minus 1 divided by 20. Is it equal to 2? I subtract the 41 because it's 41 minus 1 is 40. divided by 20, is it equal to 2? And 40 divided by 20 is 2. So 2 is equal to 2. So we say check. Okay, so this is the end of the video. Now you can do 2.2 and have fun.